less about the vibe you're blowing. Theater gets dark just to start the show. Then you spot a fine woman sitting in your row. She's dressed in yellow. She says, hello, come sit next to me, you fine fellow. You run over there without a second to lose. And what comes next? Hey, bust the move. Just bust the move. In the city, ladies look pretty. Guys tell jokes so they can seem witty. Tell a funny joke just to get some play. Then you try to make a move and she says no way. Girls are faking, goodness saking. They want a man who brings home the bacon. Got no money and you got no car, then you got no woman. And there you are. Some girls are sadistic, materialistic. Looking for a man makes them opportunistic. They're lying on the beach perpetrating a tan so that a brother with money can be their man. So on the beach you're strolling, real high rolling. Everything you have is yours and not stolen. A girl runs up with something to prove. So don't just stand there and bust the move. Just bust the move. Break it down for me, fellas.
Ladies and gentlemen, our program will begin very shortly. Please find a seat. Once again, please find a seat.
Has a brother Larry. In 5 days from now, he's gonna marry. He's hoping you can make it there if you can, cause in the ceremony you'll be the best.
We are creative. We are credible. We are remarkable. We are respected. We are supported. We are successful. We connect. We relate. We succeed. Together, we are CRS. Welcome to Celebration 2019.
Surprised to see all of you this early.
Yeah.
I really am.
You know, does anyone see anything wrong with this picture? I mean,
it's kind of like high-low.
High-low?
Seriously.
Hey,
Seriously.
Hey,
I have,
good.
I have an idea.
Yeah.
I have an idea.
Sure.
It's perfect. How many people do you know that have their own professional step stool bringer to the stage?
There you go. That's pretty good.
I am fun size.
Pretty good.
And I'm Jackie Leavenworth from Cleveland, Ohio, in the nice weather, and Sarasota in the winter.
Woo! I'm Koki Adasi from Washington, D.C., where it's freezing right now, and I'm happy to be here.
And I am Holly Woodward from Owasso, Oklahoma. Where are my Okies in the house? Woohoo!
Holly, come here. Come here. Am I taller than Holly?
Nah.
You know what? Welcome to Celebration, everyone. What a fabulous word for this event, because what we're doing is celebrating every one of you. We're celebrating your hard work, your accomplishments, your dedication to this amazing industry. We love you. You are what makes us the best. You are the best, and we plan to deliver the best to you in this next 2 days. About you.
So before we get started, by a quick show of hands, actually stand up. How many first-time attendees do we have here in the room today?
Woo! Look at that.
Awesome.
That is amazing.
Welcome.
And if I might say, if you aren't a first-time attendee, please embrace these people. That's what we are all about.
We did. On We Are CRS last night, we saw somebody looking for a mom. There's a whole lot of moms in this room. So if you saw somebody stand up, make sure you make them feel welcome. That's what this is about, networking and connections. So yes, by all means, make them feel welcome. And we want to know, though, because we were talking about Miss Sandra Nickel here in the front row. She has been to over 20 celebrations. So 21?
All but one celebration.
All but one. All but one.
Oh, wow.
How about that? Is there anybody else in the room that has been to every single celebration? That'd be pretty cool. But, okay,
hands.
so hats on to Sandra Nickel.
Woohoo!
It's amazing.
Amazing.
So now let's take a moment to thank all of our sponsors for this event. This meeting wouldn't be possible without their support.
And we have a lot of them. Yeah.
Check them out.
10,000 screaming fans thanking these people.
Yep.
Let's do it.
And don't forget to stop by the Pillar to Post Platinum sponsor booth, number 1. Let's thank them as well.
Woohoo!
Also be sure to check out the Power Stage with great short sessions in the exhibit hall. And don't miss the welcome reception sponsored by Cutco.
You know what?
And meet someone new tonight.
Yeah, and it's going to be a sharp adventure, so do not miss that, right?
Is it like literally cutting edge, boom.
They're great. They're pretty good. You guys are good at this.
And really the most important thing, obviously you're going to be getting some tips, tricks, and systems to take home with you, because for the very first time, what happens in Vegas doesn't stay in Vegas. You've heard me say it. Except what happened at Voodoo Lounge, and we won't go there. Just kidding. But honestly, looking around this room, these are the top realtors in the nation and around the world. You are surrounded by the greats. So make those connections. I guarantee you there is somebody in this room right now that has a referral for you, and you haven't met them yet. And there's somebody that you have a referral for that you haven't met yet. So make that happen. We made it a little easier for you. On your name badge, what you're going to learn about celebration is you got to get comfortable being uncomfortable. The veterans will tell you that. But if you are not comfortable just coming up with some question for somebody, on your name badge, right under the barcode, is an icebreaker. So if you haven't seen it, read it. Mine's like, what was my favorite Christmas gift, that kind of thing. But so yeah, there's little fun icebreakers, so make sure you take advantage of those this afternoon.
Oh, they're all looking at them now.
Look at that,
You didn't even realize it was
Very
there.
effective.
Mine's asking me about my dog, and boy, I'll tell you about my granddog for sure.
Yeah.
And you know, I'd like to ask a question.
Okay, time out.
Calm down now.
Yep.
Calm
Obviously,
down now.
we've got a
Still
group
The
early.
that's
networking
not
worked great. Y'all love to talk to each other, which is absolutely great at the right time.
Yeah.
It's all good. So I would love, when we talk about connections, it's referrals, but it goes even deeper than that. For me, my best friends are CRSs. How many of you, by a show of hands, can say, you know what? My best friends are CRSs. Yeah, come on, who are you? Look at that. Yes, this is relationship building, my friends.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. I know y'all loved having us up here on stage, but we're going to go ahead and pass the mic, literally. And honestly, I don't know how to introduce this guy.
Wait.
Like,
Wait.
Wait.
Speaking?
This was you don't know how to introduce him?
no. Like,
You don't know how to, do you know how to introduce him?
What's his name?
Come on,
What's
Steve
his
Sims,
name?
we've got
Steve
a
Sims,
speaker.
Steve Sims.
Do you know how to introduce him?
No, I'm not really sure how.
like
I don't know
one-
how to introduce,
Like
who got
Dr.
the script?
Seuss, like one fish, two fish, red fish.
Okay, so,
I
well,
got
you know
nothing.
what?
I got
Then
nothing.
Let's just roll a video.
Right?
What do
Let's
you think? Make it a great day.
In
Enjoy.
a world where a bricklayer from London taught himself every skill he needed to put the Vatican on his speed dial, send clients to visit the Titanic, and others to A-list Oscar parties, well, if this guy can do it, you have no excuse. This strange man has captured the attention of media giants, TV, and has been a speaker at a variety of networks, groups, and associations, as well as speaking at the Pentagon and Harvard twice. As the old adage goes, it's all about who you know. And now you know Steve. Entrepreneurialism is a curiosity that can't be satisfied. That's why you're here. But Sims has the roadmap to help you skip all the stop signs. And as proof, I'm not Morgan Freeman. That would be a waste of a smart entrepreneur's budget. And Steve is a tight-ass. Steve Sims.
How you doing? I'll tell you the truth. I actually landed in my room last night at 1:40 in the morning. Yeah, I flew in from doing a speech in Punta Mita, Four Seasons down in Mexico. I know, pity me. And all of the flights were delayed, so I got in very, very early. And I honestly came out and I was drinking loads of coffee. And I thought to myself, got to get myself all pumped up. None of that caffeine was necessary based on the energy in this room. You know? You guys, I could have got off the plane 10 minutes ago and I'd have been pumped as I'd have been on coke for a month. So, good on you. I don't want to upset the people that have asked me to be here, but I hate giving speeches. I actually do. What I really like to do is have a conversation with hundreds to thousands of people. So what I'd like to do is go through some of the things that I do, some of the tips and tricks that I use within my business, and then I'd like to open it up to the floor where we can go through a Q&A so that the stuff I get up to can benefit you. Do you want to do it that way? Yeah? Good, good, good. I just wanted to double check on that. So, hang on a sec. There, this is Steve. That's how it happened 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I'm in the Hotel de Russi in Rome. I'm working on another project. And I get a call from a client. He says, I'm taking my fiance, her mum and dad, and a couple of stringers, a couple of hanger-on friends down to Florence for an exclusive restaurant. He said, I want you to sort it out. I want you to make this one a good night. Can you do it? I said, sure, I'll do that, When do you want to go? Wednesday, so I had 2 days. Fine, fair enough. Following day, I went down to Florence, pulled a few strings, made a few phone calls, got some things done. How many people here have been to Florence, Italy? Good enough. So, Savoy, in the main square, just outside of the Palazzo de Vecchio, this white carriage pulls up. Guy gets in it with his fiancée, mum and dad, and we got 2 stringers now. And they start circling the cobbled streets of Florence. That pulls up outside the Accademia Museum. And the guy says, stop, 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 jumps out of the carriage, starts banging on the door of the museum. And the fiancée's looking, this is 9 o'clock at night, and they're outside one of the oldest museums in the planet. She's like, what are you doing? He says, in there is Michelangelo's David, and I want to see it. We're only here for a couple of days. She said, yeah, but it's 9 o'clock at night. She said, we can't, maybe someone's cleaning or something, and I can slip them a few bucks and we can go and see it. Bang, 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 it keeps going. She's now screaming at him. All of a sudden, the doors open to the Accademia to this. There's a red carpet leading all the way down the main hall of Accademia. There's a string quartet playing in the corner, and there's a table of 6 at the feet of Michelangelo's David. That's pretty good, yeah? It ain't shit until you got Andrea Bocelli come in and serenade him during that pasta. You see, what we do is we listen to what clients say, and then we give them what they want. Now, I've got to work with some cool cats around the world. I get to do some amazing things for some amazing people. I get to do wishes. I get to do things for people that are on that bucket list. People call me the Make-A-Wish Foundation for people with really big checkbooks. And I said to you that I was in Rome, in the Hotel de Russi. That's because I got a couple married here at the Vatican by this fella. All right? Now, I know what you're thinking. It's easy for him because he's good looking. He's got that smooth Hugh Grant accent, obviously educated at Oxford. But no. I have these in my Rolodex. Frickin' great trees. Do you know what this is? This is actually magnified something like about, 100 times. It's a sequoia seed, one of the biggest trees in the planet. If I gave you that seed, there's a million ways for you to kill it. Do nothing. Stick it on your desk. Put it on the floor. Don't water it, don't feed it, don't prune it, don't protect it. Do nothing with it, and the outcome will be exactly the same every single time. Dead, dead, and deader. Okay? But what if you did the opposite? What if you did protect? What if you did prune? What if you did feed it? What if you made sure that it was pruned and trimmed and prepared for the elements? Then you'd end up with these things. Now, why is Steve Sims up here telling you about bloody great trees? Because I want you to focus on the power of relationships, because those are your trees. Does that make sense? All right. Stand up. All the ladies in the house, stand up. All the guys in the house, stand up, and anyone confused, just stand up. All right. Guy's walking down the street, walks past this office building, walks into the foyer, goes in the elevator, goes up to the 7th floor, walks straight past the receptionist, starts milling around the office. People are working hard, people are hitting the keyboards. He walks past this office, glass partition, and in there's a girl on there. She's hitting the keyboard, she's got a phone in her ear, she's checking her email, she's got a pile of papers on there. And he stops and he walks up to the door and he kicks the door down. He walks in, he says, "Get your jacket, let's have sex." Stay standing if you think that is appropriate. Stay standing if you think that would work. Ah, there you go. I'll get your number later. Yeah, no, thanks, but no. You see, the trouble is, this is how we communicate every single day now. We're convinced that we've got to grab the person's attention. We've got to give them a message that is impossible to misunderstand. We've got to get it out really quickly what our offer is. And that's what we're doing. Was the message that the guy gave not accurate to what he wanted? Could there be any confusion in what he was after? No. But was it wrong? It was absolutely wrong. How many of us here are married? How many of us are happy about that? Good, good. So here's the thing. I'm happily married to the most attractive woman in the planet. Have been for 33 years now. Thank you very much. But I have an illness. I buy motorcycles and drink whiskey. Not at the same time, but And I am really, really good at buying motorcycles. I am terrible at selling them. So we're actually building another garage now for the rest of the motorcycles. So, you walk in, my wife sat there, I walk up to her, and I say this: "Hey babe, I'm buying a new bike, deal with it." Okay? 2 questions. 1, do you think that would work? And 2, where do you think I'm sleeping for the next few days? But we don't do that, do we? And the guys are all kind of like, "Don't give the secret away, don't give the secret," but I'm gonna. We know how to play the game and you ladies know how to play it better. So you walk in, and you're like, hey, babe, how are you? Damn, what have you done with your hair? You look good. Have you been working out? You look fine tonight, girl. Do you know, we really don't get to spend enough time together. Do you remember the days when we used to just hang out and you'd throw a leg over the bike and we'd just go cruising through the canyon? Hell, I got an idea. Let's buy a bike. How many of you ladies make sure the makeup's just right, the skirt's the right level, and the eyes are fluttering just that little bit more when you want what you want? Yeah. But that's the game we play, isn't it? We know how to do it, but we think when we're talking to other people, you've got to talk differently. I don't care who you're talking to. The rules of engagement are exactly the same for every single person. CRS. You've got to connect with the person. You've got to relate to them. Show you understand what happens, what they need, how you've been through it, and you're relatable to the situation, the problem, the issue. And then, and only then, can you sync with them. That took me a good 10 minutes to work that out. So I hope you like that one. See, it doesn't matter who you're speaking with. If you focus on that CRS, you can get anything. How many of you are in business with people or in relationships or have friends that you don't sync with? Yeah? Well, then get rid of them. Okay? Because there's no relationship worth having that doesn't have value. Okay? I have friends which are hugely intelligent, which really helps me just out of the averages, and they help me make a lot of money. And then I have friends where every single time with them, I'm picking up the bar tab. But they make me laugh. They make me smile. They keep me grounded. Every single one of my friends have value. If there is a relationship that you have that you're not providing value, or value's not coming back to you, it ain't a relationship. You're just kidding yourself. So, we need to connect with people, because I'm guessing you want to connect with clients and vendors and partners. You want to connect with people, yeah? Is that what we want to do? Because if you don't want to connect with people, Amazon's waiting to take your job. So most of the time when we connect with people, I get my clients, I do consulting for people, and they turn around and they go, I email a lot, Steve. I email people. How many people here have large email lists? So what do? You email them, don't you? How successful is that? It ain't, is it? So let's play a little game. I was actually, and I think I misjudged the crowd slightly, because I was at a constant contact seminar up in San Francisco, and I actually went through the following slides. Yeah, did right well, that one. So I actually spoke to some of the people in it, and I said, well, okay, we've got lists, give me an average. And they went through the stats with me, because I wanted to find out. The good thing about being an entrepreneur is you get to step in other people's sandpits and you get to ask them questions. That's what I really like about my job. I get to meet interesting people that for no other reason in the world, I'd have never, ever been near them. So I'm in constant contact, and I said, help me understand these things called algorithms and trends and click-through rates and open rates. Help me understand it in a simplistic, moronic way that even I can understand. And they went, absolutely. Let's play with a 5,000 email list. You've got an open rate of 20%. I said, well, okay, that's not bad, because emails are free, aren't they? And you just send them out, and 20% of the people open them. I said, that's fantastic. They went, no, that's the open rate. Did you know if you've got a, hey, I'm traveling, hey, I'm pregnant, hey, I can't be bothered to answer your email, if there's an autoresponder, it tricks the platform into thinking that that's an open because you responded. So they said, no, what you're looking for is the click-through rate, where someone's got your email and they think, hey, this is fantastic, I need to click through what the offer is. That's 7%. That means 70 people for every 5,000 emails that you send out read, understand, acknowledge, and want your information. Is that a good number? So I can't hear you. It's not, is it? Do you want to see a real shit one? Now, when people subscribe to you, now we can make assumptions here. There's nothing deep about me. I'm a very primitive person. When people subscribe to you, what can you guaranteed assume? That they want to talk to you. They want to hear from you. You subscribe to things because you want information. Well, guess what? If they're not getting the email, what do? They go and subscribe to someone else who will talk to them. And that's not what we want, is it? So how do we contact people for real? This is where the fun begins. I was talking with a couple of the big cheeses backstage, and we were talking about the power of having fun with stuff. Do you know when you have fun with stuff, it takes absolutely no effort. You can do what you love, enjoy, and you play and makes you smile. You can do that all day long, and then you're pissed off at 6 o'clock when you go home because you're having too much fun. Okay? So let's have some fun with stuff, yeah? I believe there's 3 touch points that make you credible and make people want to deal with you. I tell people that they've got to have a social platform. How many of you here think that people that are working with you are not checking out your social pages? Hands up. How many people think they are not? Good. When you Google someone, you are provided a website of information that they want you to see. Okay? It's like when someone says, hey, come over Saturday night. You know full well Saturday afternoon they cleaned the house. Okay? A website is that. They only show you the best things. They only show you the media that they want you to see. But the social, oh, that's a different game. Social platforms are the largest research platform out there now. When you really want to know about someone, you go and look them up. How many people, and keep your hands up as I call it out, have a Facebook page? How many people have a Twitter page? How many people have a LinkedIn page? How many of you have ever done a social audit? All right. This is fun for you. So you get your desktop, you open up 3 browsers, okay, 3 web pages, you open up all of your social pages, Snapchat, Tinder, whatever, you open them up. So you've got your 3 mains, and the 3 mains are the Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook. And on LinkedIn, you got your suit and tie on and you're looking good. And on Facebook, it's Girls Gone Wild. Your clients are looking at all of these things. Now, do you know the downside when people get confused? And we can go back to the sink. When people are confused, they go away from you, don't they? People that are confused never phone you to go, could you explain this for me? Because I'm getting a funny... No, that doesn't happen. You've lost them. They've gone. The social pages need to carry the same tone, the same personality right across the board. A social audit is to make sure... Now, in LinkedIn, you can be a bit, smart about it because it's more of a business platform. But don't think for a second it gives you a free-for-all when you hit it down on Facebook. Carry the same message. If you have adopted dogs and you love talking about your dogs on Facebook, drop the comment in Twitter and LinkedIn. Let people know that you're relatable because you love dogs. But you've got to do the social audit. The first thing you can do, and I can't tell you strong enough, social is overtaking Google. Like now we say, oh, I'm going to look at someone, I'll Google them. Do you remember when we used to Yahoo them? Do you remember that company? Yeah? When I had a MySpace page? So you've got to look at doing your social audit first. That's your key, social. Pay attention to it because other people are. What is the best social page out there to have? Anyone want to yell at me? Which one? YouTube? Any others? Instagram? Any others? So my mum is 82 years old. She's a very large Irish lady sitting in London, smokes about 400 cigarettes per hour, and couldn't be further away from Mark Zuckerberg if you tried. And she contacted me one day on the phone, and she said, Steve, I see you in Paris. I said, how bloody hell do you know I'm in Paris? She said, I saw it on Instagram. I said, you don't even have a computer all the time, so how the hell did you know that I was there? I said, do you have an Instagram account? Do you know what she turned around and she said, you don't need an account to see Instagram. But Facebook and the other platforms you need to have an account for. So for Instagram, you don't. So my old mum taught me that Instagram was one of the best. YouTube's great for videos, but for just quick postings, Instagram, everyone can follow it. Text. How many of you text your clients? If they like it. All right, if they don't, find other clients to do. But the reason I'm going to tell you now why it's such a, and that's a good angle there, and you've always got to give what the client, and that's why there's other ways of touching people here, in an appropriate manner, I mean. But with text, when you email someone, if you get a list and say, for argument's sake, 100 of those are AOL accounts or Google Mail or anything like that, they get caught up in filters. Now, I'm sure, because of the industry that we're in, when you're contacting anyone in the finance industry, you try attaching a picture and it doesn't get through, does it? Especially in the finance and legal and stuff like that, because they can't open attachments. I've got clients in the military. I can never send big emails and I can never attach anything because it won't get opened up. When you wake up in the morning, you reach for that coffee machine and you pick up your phone with the other hand. At the bottom is your email icon and it shows 200 on there. And at the top left-hand corner is your text icon and it shows 20. What do you open first? Text. Anyone here ever go, oh, I'm going to open up the emails first? No. When you send people an email, what's the usual response time? Or what's the acceptable response time? 24 hours. When you text someone, what's the average response time? You see where I'm going with this, don't you? Texting is the Wild West. It's going to be closed down soon. But I'm telling you, if you send 100 texts out, how many texts get through to the recipient? Because there's no filter yet. You can stick pictures of your dog on there, you can shove videos on there, but texts get through. I text people as much as I can. I always try to get their cell phone number. Now, this beautiful young lady here said to me about if they accept it, if they like having texts, okay? If they don't, maybe it's because your message is not compelling enough, okay? If there was something that you were showing your personality with them, they may be going, oh, I like this. So sometimes when we have a problem, and I'm not picking on you for this, but sometimes when we have a problem, we're the problem. So if a client doesn't like receiving texts from me, that's because maybe my message is crap. Do you get it? So maybe we should be a little bit more entertaining. Maybe we should connect and relate. Because the funny thing is, whenever I text my mum, she responds every single time. Okay? So text is a great way of doing it. Audio. This is a really, really good one. And again, it runs on the texting platform. I'm trying to give you stuff that you can use with the people that you're trying to connect with. Okay? But when you use audio, if I send someone an email and I say to you, tomorrow night, drinks 7 p.m., there's no personality in it. If I voice record it and then send it to you via email or via text, you've got me going, hey, Lee, tomorrow, drinks 7 p.m. There's all the enthusiasm in there, isn't there? But whenever you write text and you send it to someone, I'm telling you now, it will be received in the worst possible way that it can. You're liable with that. If you send a message to someone and you mean it with all the best intentions in the world, and the guy that's receiving it has just come home to find out that his wife's in bed with the gardener, he's not going to be happy, so he's going to look at whatever you wrote in the worst possible context, especially when he knows that he lives in an apartment and he doesn't even have a garden. So audio gets your personality across. And there's another little tip on audio, which I'll come back to in a second. Mail. How many people send out snail mail? Good, 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 good. How many fingers does it take to delete an email? How many fingers does it take to open up a letter? Okay? Now that most of our letters are actually paperless, most of our bills are paperless, what do we usually receive in the mail in forms of envelopes? Junk mail. But what about when it's what I call lumpy mail? Well, actually, it was Dean Jackson and Joe Polish called it lumpy mail, but it sounds better when I say it. When you send someone a letter and you've actually got a handwritten address on the front, do you not get excited? Because what did you get when you were 9 years old that was handwritten? Grandma's card, Santa Claus, gifts, money. You got all of these things. Invites to someone's wedding. That's what came when it was handwritten, because it was personal. They cared. So I love sending out letters. I do this an absolute ton. How many of you here have nicked any of the stationery yet? Sorry, it's a British thing. How many of you have actually stolen any of the papers and envelopes from the rooms or the concierge yet? A few of you. No? Well, you should, because for one, it's free, okay? And then you send people a letter, and that letter comes in the post, and they go to the post box, they open it up, and it's telling them about a new Chinese restaurant, and there's a new house for sale in the area from some kind of other realtor that no one wants to talk about. And there's a letter in there, and it's handwritten. And it's from Caesar's Palace, Las Vegas. And I'm like, who the hell sent me that? There's the anticipation. There's the excitement. Who do I know in Vegas? As I say, I came back from Mexico. I literally went up to the concierge, and I went, 200 pieces of stationery, 200 envelopes, please. And the guy said, well, I'm sorry, sir, why do you need that much? And I said, because I want to send them to 200 of the most powerful people in the planet. Is that okay with you? Guess what they said? So my clients now are going to be getting letters from Mexico. And I'll go into what I actually put in them in a second. But I use letters a lot. It takes very little time in. And how many of us have got kids? Yeah? How many of us like them? Good for you. I got 3. It depends on what day to which 2 I like. But I'm a great believer and an advocate in child labor. I absolutely think we need to enforce that. So I will go home with these envelopes, and I will stick them on the table, and I'll say, before you can eat ever again, you've got to do the addresses on those envelopes, and you've got to put my message on that stationery, fold it, and get it ready to be stamped. Okay? I do that all the time. Another good reason for doing it is because you're training them what actually works, because let's be serious, they're being taught in school what doesn't or did 200 years ago. True? So give them some real life lessons there. Video. This is my magic bean. I have videoed the Pope, Elon Musk, Richard Branson, tons of people. I love using text as a platform, and I get a video up. Why? Because we've all got these things, haven't we? And you just walk along and you just click it and you go, hey, I'm in Vegas at the moment, but we needed to speak because I've been doing a course and I think I've got some stuff that could add extra value to our relationship. When's a good time for me to contact you back? And you send it. When have you ever actually had to introduce yourself to a friend? When have you walked up to a friend and gone, hey, how are you, Steve Sims? You don't, do you? You just contact them and go, hey, are we getting together tomorrow night for a drink or something? Because you got past that, didn't you? So that little video that I just did can go to 300 people. I haven't got to change it. I haven't got to add the name on it or anything. And do you know the real beauty about video that's also the same in audio? I have never, ever spelled anything wrong in a video. My grammar is perfect. So I'm a great believer in doing that. But there's one key that is paramount in which the entirety of this conversation is to waste. And we're going to go into some questions in a second, so get those questions ready so I don't stand up here looking stupid. But if you miss this final thing, then you should have just stayed in and kind of like had a bit more breakfast. It takes zero effort to be you. Okay? The funny thing is, no one that achieved greatness ever did it by copying anyone else. And everyone, how many people, I know you all work for companies, and I know you all work for big brands, but how many people here actually think they work for themselves? Yeah, you do. You absolutely do. You are your own brand. And everyone out there that is going to connect with you, is going to relate with you, that you're going to end up syncing with, wants to sync with you. And the companies know it. Because if it wasn't down to you people and your personality syncing with people of similar personalities, again, Amazon would just walk in and take over your job. Because then it becomes transactional. The second your job can be replicated by pushing a button on an app, you've just become, retired. So I urge you, socially, make sure your personality comes through. When you speak to people, make sure your personality comes through. I said to you about the lumpy mail when I send things out. I mentioned to you earlier I love motorcycles and drinking whiskey. When you actually go and you get the bar tab, 9 times out of 10 you get 3 pieces of paper. You get the rundown on what it is you purchased, you get the receipt that you've got to sign for the bar, and then you get the receipt that you get to take home, don't you? I actually take the bar tab, flip it over, went, I had 7 whiskeys tonight, 2 of them I was thinking of you, and I stick it in an envelope. And I just send it to random people. So I am well known for sending my bar tabs to people all out, and some of the weirdest people have got them. And do you know what they do every single time they get it? They actually call me. And it's usually something along the lines of this. Why the bloody hell did you send me a bar tab? Who here doesn't want their clients, their partners, their vendors contacting them? You are using your personality. And again, I'm going to drink. I'm just now making it productive. All right, do we have any questions? I think they're going to be throwing some boxes around. There's some hands up, so throw your box at the first person. These gentlemen, there's a lady there, so throw a box at someone. It's a box, it's a microphone box. So they throw the box, and then you can talk into the box. Hang on a second, I think, is there someone got a microphone? Hey, how are you? I'm sorry, I can't see you. I'm like a deer in headlights here.
Hey, good morning. I'm Kate Johnston from Seattle, Washington. I'm a brand new
Hang on
CRS.
1 second. Hang on.
Okay.
All right, now I can see you. Talk to me.
Hey, Steve. It's Kate Johnston here, and I've got a question for you. So I have some wonderful connections in the Seattle area. I work out at a gym with some of the Microsoft billionaires. How do you make these relationships? You talk about all the people you know. How have you done this?
All right, first of all, value. Every time you speak to anyone, there's got to be a value in it. So every time you go up to someone, the first thing you've got to do is your research. In my book, and I'm not here to plug it, although it is brilliant. In the book, I tell a story. Oh, thank you, holding up the book. In the book, I spoke about this story about how I wanted to get a contract with this up-and-coming artist called Elton John. So I went to a party where I knew some of the people that controlled him was actually at this event. And whenever you go to a VIP event, where do the VIPs sit? In the front. Well, where are the 2 places that they will always go during that night? Bathroom and the toilet. The bathroom and the bar. Those are the 2 places. So every VIP event I ever get to, they're like, oh yeah, we'll get you a table at the front. I'm like, nah, stick me at the bar or near the toilet. Because then what happens is the person that you want to connect with, they get up and you've got 10 minutes because you can see them walking, so you can time it. So I stalk them on social. I find out the kind of things they like. And here's a really easy thing. If there's someone you like, and this doesn't have to be the Pope you're doing it with. It could be to someone at a local brand or local building or development, anything. Google them and then go to images. And that images will pull up every image that's got that name in it. And if you see that they're by horses, then you know they like equestrian. You know, if they're by cars, they like vintage cars. Whatever it is, and then you can do a few things. If it's cold, you can subscribe them to a magazine of that genre. Okay? Magazines are going bankrupt. We all know that. You can actually get a magazine subscription for a year for about $25. Oh, I should always tell you, I never gift over $100. I'm a tight ass. You heard Morgan Freeman say it. So I never gift over $100. But magazine subscriptions, every quarter, they get that magazine land in the office, and who are they thinking of? You. Yeah. So Google them on that, and then go there and strike up a conversation with what they like. The one thing that is the same with absolutely everyone, whether it is, you know, Joe Schmo or the Pope, they love talking about what they love. Okay? So you can be in an environment, and you can walk up, and I told the story in the book, that I wanted to get in touch with this guy. So I knew the stuff he liked. I waited until he went to the bar. I walked up to the bar. Whatever he was going to drink, I was going to order the same. He ordered his drink. I went, what is that? He starts talking to me. How long you had that then? You know, I can't even remember what the bloody drink was. But we went through this whole conversation, and we got chatting. I got his cell phone number. Always go for the cell phone number. When you get the cell phone number, just go, okay, let me just test it. Did you get it? To make sure that you've got the right cell phone number, and say, hey, I want to respect your time, but let's pick this conversation up another time and let them go about their ways. Okay? So that's the key, but the cell phone is the key, because then you can phone them up. And during the conversation, bring up something that they liked, find something on the internet which is relevant and relatable to what they liked, and go, hey, following our conversation, I stumbled on this last night, and I thought I'd send you the link. Now, I put it in this book about how I did this, and I had the guy that runs the Elton John AIDS Foundation contact me. And he said, I read your book. I said, well, that's good. That's 3 people now. And he said, I read that story about how you planned the attack on the person to get what you wanted. And I said, yeah. He said, was that me? And I said to him, I felt a relationship between us would be so beneficial, I was not going to leave it to chance. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yep, 8 years later, still got the contract, so hopefully that helps.
I'll buy you a whiskey. Thank you.
Good, thank you.
I've got one for you.
I'll take the bar tab.
I'm Ellis Gardner from Chattanooga, Tennessee. How did you break through to your first celebrity?
I didn't. I never did. Because the first thing to do is never look at them as a celebrity, because you kind of get a bit intimidated. You know, celebrities and rich people are just poor people that are very successful at one thing and have therefore a lot of money in it. Okay? So you can keep it. But you just got to make sure that you look at people as normal people, and you've got to find that relatability, and you've got to find that conversation piece. So when I went out, I wanted to be of value. Like the Academia, you saw me close down the Academia. I took over the Academia Museum, and I'll actually give you a sad story, which hopefully will answer it. Well, it's also a bit annoying to our times now. I had the Academia opened up because I mentioned at the beginning that I have big trees in my Rolodex, okay? I use other people to recommend me to other people. Always do. So whenever I wanted anything at the Academia, I contacted people in Florence and I went, you make the conversation. If I stand in front of you and I go, hey, I send more people down to the Titanic than anybody, I'm good friends with Elton John. If I tell you all of these things, it's true, but you're still going to hate me. You're going to go, well, he's smug. You know, he's a dick. He's full of himself. And it's probably true. But if your best mate tells you, it's gospel, isn't it? Yes. Yeah. If you're in a bar and they went, oh, you see that guy over there? He did this, and you're done. So get other people to introduce you every single time you can. So the Academia, I got other people to do it. There was one of the curators that I could felt I had friction with. Now, I never ask a question that you can answer with a yes or a no. That's the first tip. If I go up to someone and go, hey, can I do this? The knee-jerk reaction is always no, because it's the shortest word in the language, and every language knows it. So you go forward and you go, what are the steps required for me to get the Academia on Wednesday? What would I need to do to bring value to the conversation in order for this to happen? Get into a conversation, because if they answer that with no, they sound like morons. So when I got the academia, it was in the evening, and I was stood by David. Andrea Bocelli's over in the corner, just warbling up his throat. It was an incredible moment. I had shivers. It was, this was phenomenal. To the right of me, about 15, 20 feet, was the curator. And as I say, you could see that he just thought I was a connected guy with too much money, and he didn't want to talk to me. And I knew that. And being the dick that I am, I wanted to kind of like give it to him a bit. So I'm already in it. I've had the academia since 3 o'clock in the afternoon. There's the dinner set up. Everything's going well. I've got Andrea Bocelli, which is pretty well known in Italy. So everything's going well for him. So I looked over and I went, hey, come over here. So he comes over. And we're looking at this table. I went, what do you think? I didn't care what he answered by now because I was already in. My question took no liability. He could have gone, it's horrible. I don't care, go away. It really didn't matter. But he went, it's beautiful. And I said, Andrea's over there getting ready. What do you think of that? He's like, it's fantastic. My ego's kind of like starting to get up there. So I gave him another couple of jabs just to get it up. My ego's about to blow the walls off the academia. So I thought, right, okay, here we go for the last rub. So I turned around to him and I went, so how come this happened? I expected him to turn around and go, well, no one's as connected as you, Steve, or you've got some powerful friends. Just something that was going to be the final hook shot. He turned around to me and looked me in the eyes and he went, no one's ever asked. I suddenly realized at that moment that we fail to ask for what we want. After that, and as I say, that was about 2 years ago, I went on a calling spree for about 6 months, asking all the people that I'd got, how come I got this? Now, of course, the checkbook and all this kind of, when we went to the academia, in order for me to get into the academia, I did some research. I found out that in October that year, they were having a gala to raise money for a roof repair. I contacted them once I'd been introduced, and I said, how would you like a third of that covered before you even start the gala? Because whenever you walk up to anyone, whether it be a lawyer, a developer, a partner, anyone that's ever got anything, and you see this with celebrities, the second someone walks up, they know for shit you want something. Don't they? If you're in a party and you're stood there and you're talking to someone and you see someone look up and start walking towards you, you know they want something, don't you? And in your head, you're going through, well, what is it they want? When you're in a position of power, status, and money, that amplifies. So the key is to get it out the way straight away by bringing value into the conversation. Hey, I believe you've got a new book coming out. I've got a great following. How about if I recommend your book? Would that be of value to you? Well, thank you very much. Always bring value into every single conversation. So anyone I ever spoke to, my key was just to bring value in. Regardless of what their bank balance was, that status, that celebrity, everyone that you saw me up there, whether it be Elon, Steven Tyler, any of those people, I brought value to the conversation. Does that help? Sorry about the little story diverting off there. Right. I can go back up there now. I can see. Anyone talking?
Hello.
Hi.
Steve, Lee Robinson from Cincinnati. Curious about your background. What did you do before you're doing what you're doing now?
Oh, don't turn the lights back on now I'm up here. That's why I came up here. I don't want to tell you. Because I feel at the moment, you're looking at all the pictures and you're thinking to yourself, hey, there's a bit of credibility here and I'm just about to screw it. So, how many of us here think we're entrepreneurs? Yeah. And you know full well that as an entrepreneur, you're going to make mistakes, you're going to get screwed over, you're going to lose money, everything's going to go wrong, But we're oblivious to all that because we like the journey, we like the helter-skelter, we like the fairground ride. I was an East London bricklayer in my family's construction firm. And I remember one day lifting up some bricks up onto the scaffolding. There was my dad, my uncle, my cousins, all the way down to my granddad, who was in his 70s at the time. And I stood there and I saw my family tree. Now, my family tree, together, all of us, we may be total have an IQ of, 20, Not the sharpest tools in the shed. I remember during tea break talking to my granddad and asking him a stupid question. I went, did you ever think you would do this? I was 19 at the time. And he turned around to me and he went, if you don't quit today, you'll be me tomorrow. Yeah. So I did what every idiot does living at home. I walked up to my dad and I said, I quit. Worst 2 weeks of my life, living at home, telling my dad that I just turned my back on the construction. My mum, big, thick Irish lady, love her to death, but just that kind of mentality. She just thought I'd turn my back on the family business, okay? So I ended up talking to a friend of mine who was a stockbroker who was going over to do an internship with about 80 other stockbrokers over to Hong Kong. And I actually borrowed my dad's suit without him knowing, and I went and applied for this job. And I'll give you the credibility's gone now. So do you want me to tell you this story? Yes. So I've got my suit on, and I'm walking down into the bank, into East London, and we're going through this like conference center like this. And I walk past the door, and up on stage is one of the heads of the bank talking to all of these established stockbrokers about the life that they were going to be leading in Hong Kong. And on the side was the biggest buffet I'd ever seen in my life. And so I carried on walking past them, and at the bottom left-hand corner was internships for the people that were going to be replacing these. There was no breakfast buffet. And I'm a simple guy. If I go in that room, I get fed. In this room, I don't. I'm probably not going to get the job, but at least I get fed. So I went back out, went into the room, and then personally challenged myself to eat the buffet. So I'm literally just wandering up and down this thing. And the guy's up on stage talking about Hong Kong, and he said, and this was back in 89, and he turns around and he says, and the ladies at the back can make sure we have your addresses to send you the welcome package and your flight tickets. So I put down my breakfast, walked up to this girl, and I went, the name's Sims. Of course, she starts flipping through the chart. Shock or surprise, I'm not on the chart. And she's like, I can't find you. So then I pulled a performance that would have got me an Emmy. I'm like, oh my God, not again. She went, no. I'm like, man, at times this happens. She's like, shh. She writes my name and address down. So then I go back, another round at the breakfast buffet, leave back, and I was delivering cakes at the time. I was a cake driver. As an entrepreneur, I was bouncing around trying to find where I fit. And I was literally in the depot, and my wife calls. She was my girlfriend at the time, and I'd given their address. And she said the words that no man ever wants to hear. Is there something you want to tell me? And then it's followed by those other words of equal pain. We'll talk about this later. So I spent the day trying to work out, what does she think she knows? What have I done? Where have I been? What's going on? It was the worst day of my existence. And I get back home, and as I said, I'd used her address, and there was a welcome package to send me as a stockbroker to Hong Kong 2 weeks later. And funny enough, her parents had actually chipped in the money to give me some money to be over there. I thought this was a gesture of kindness, but now I think there was another reason behind it. And so my girlfriend at the time said, you got to go, you chanced your arm, you got the ticket. So I turned up on the Saturday, got drunk with them on the Saturday, drunk with them on the Sunday, orientation on the Monday, and I was fired on the Tuesday. So I ended up working on the door of the nightclub. And any of you guys know Hong Kong? Any of you know Wan Chai? Deviants. Yeah, Wan Chai was where all the seedy clubs were. But this is where it was important. This was my catalyst. I was a doorman on the nightclub, and I saw all these guys coming in looking sharp, and I wanted to be them. How could I get them to talk to me? I'm on the door. I know the nightclubs. I started turning these people away and sending them to nightclubs that would be better for them that night. They were regulars, but I started bringing value into the conversation. And you know, every night they would then come to me. That's how it all started. And I realized people want to know. They want to know a who rather than a how. And I became that who. So that's how I started.
Diana Simmons, Clear Lake, Iowa. When you send out those 200 letters from Caesar's Palace, what will your typical message be?
There's a friend of mine, Dean Jackson, that does an email, that's a 9-letter email. So I believe that brevity is king. So I will usually take the piece of stationery. I will always use a Sharpie, and I will go diagonal. I will never go along. And I will say, Dean, just finished speaking in Vegas. I've got some things we should chat about. Call me. Simple. It'll be something like that. How many of you have clients that you're currently working with?
Hold on.
How many of your clients know that you're here? You were of value to them before you came here. Think of the value that you've now got when you go back. Those are the people you should be sending the Caesar's Palace stationery to. I just wanted to let you know, like, we mentioned we got wives. How many of you here have brought your partners to Vegas? Not a lot of you. How many of you got kids you've left at home? Okay? And you're going to be here. Some of you that have traveled over here are going to be here for like 3 or 4 nights, correct? So let me get this right. You've flown in. You're going to do 3 to 4 nights. You're away from your family, hugging your kids, kissing your partner, family time, all for one reason, to be a bigger value. Am I right? So why don't you tell your clients? Hey, I was brilliant before I came here. I got some stuff that we need to talk about when I come home. That should be in the stationery. I'm in Vegas. I'm at CRS, which is the best event of the year. Yep. And you thought I was good before I got here? You don't know shit. Got another question? There's a gentleman down here keeps putting his hand up, and I think everyone's ignoring him. I don't know if he's done something bad or sneaked in. Just letting you know. Right.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm Nelly Sporel. I'm originally from Brazil, and this is my broker Lisa, that is original from Australia. So we have something in common. Everybody knows the accent, of course. So you know you are in a real estate conference, and my question for you is, do you know anybody who wants to buy or sell a real estate, wait a minute, in Rockport, Texas?
In Rockport, Texas. No, I don't. But now I know someone that can help me out. There you go. You can text me a funny video later.
Hi, Steve.
Oh.
Sorry.
I can't even see where you are. There you are.
Okay, so you talk about experiences. What is your best experience you've ever had?
What is that, Paul? You want me to get off stage now? Right, so I'm stuttering now.
Okay, well, I'm going to come up there for support because one of my things, this is an ask, is this morning I talked to you for just briefly, and I didn't want to disturb you, get a selfie or anything, so I want to actually meet you. And you look like you're a little warmed up. You know, this morning you were still having your coffee. So
well, I'd only got in 3 hours ago.
But I'm going to have you come down here so I don't have to fall down the stairs.
All right. Oh, there you go.
Hi, Steve. I'm Julie.
Hey, Julie. I'm Steve.
Nice to meet you.
So the reason that I stutter with the greatest experience is because I've done stuff, like for argument's sake, I've got people married in the Vatican by the Pope, put them on stage. I had a client that wanted to meet the rock band Journey. I got them on stage with them in San Diego. They sang 4 tunes live on stage and is now registered as the shortest term lead singer of the rock band Journey. So I see how far I can go with things. For a start, when your client asks for something, never give it to them. Give them what they want. Give them more, okay? That's how you build up loyalty. So you asked me the best experience.
Yes, your experience. Nobody else's.
Right.
Yours.
Oh, my experience?
Your experience.
No, I live vicariously through my clients. So I'm actually a very dull person. I live up in the hills in California. And as I say, I drink heavily and buy motorcycles. Usually after I've been drinking heavily.
Let's talk about motorcycles. What's your favorite motorcycle?
Well, I'm going to give you the experience.
Oh, okay.
Because I've done a lot of things that have cost a lot of money. Okay. The most expensive thing I did was, I think it was 3.2 million for a weekend. Okay, so yeah, I'm used to spending other people's money very well. But the one that always comes up as a story to me in my head as the most amazing experience cost $1,700. Okay, now I charge $5,000 just for our phone number. So to be charging a client $1,700. So we had a client, still have the client actually, he was been married for a long time, and every year for the anniversary he would contact us and go, hey, we need to do something crazy. We've chartered planes to go over, he's actually from Chicago. So he flies over to Paris. We took over the entire Jules Verne restaurant and the Eiffel Tower, and they had dinner and then they flew back after. Okay, we've done those kind of things. We've arranged Beyonce to come over. We've arranged her to actually play basketball at Madison Square Gardens with the team. So every year we've had them drink champagne on a mound of diamonds. You know, so we've done some pretty wild stuff. But then he contacts me. You're going to make me cry, so I hate you. But he contacted me one year. This is about 5 years ago, and he said, all right, it's anniversary time. He said, we need to do something pretty amazing, pretty cool. Oh, what's the anniversary? 20. So that's a really good one. I said, you know, we've got to do something really cool there. He's got, yeah, it's got to be brilliant, it's got to be amazing, it's got to be impactful. And it was that last word that changed everything. And I said, impact. Because you see, impact doesn't have a price tag, okay? Impact is all about triggers. When you see something, it's like when you listen to a tune. You're driving down the road and that tune comes on, and you remember when you were a kid, you can smell the grass by listening to that tune, can't you? Yeah. Or it suddenly transports you to the restaurant you were in when you heard it. Yeah. Music does a great thing. That's triggers, that's emotions, that's experiences, and that's impact. So this guy starts to tell me about 20 years ago when he met his girl and stuff. And I said to him, so tell me the story. He said, well, you know, she was denying me, and we were at campus, and I was trying to kind of like flirt with her. She wasn't having any of it. So I got a picnic rug, and I put it outside one of her school courses, and I got a hamper with some sandwiches in it, and I got a bottle of champagne, and I got a boombox that I'd done some, love tunes on it, romantic tunes on there. And when she comes out of campus with all of her girlfriends, I hit the boombox, pulled the champagne off, poured it in, and went, care to join me? Typical cheesy shit, isn't it, as a college kid? Trying to, float it. That's fine, that's fine. So we thought, we're going to do that. We're going to recreate that, okay? The first time this year, everyone went, oh, I'm going to give this guy a chance. So they're very affluent now. We actually took over a park. Now, you can't rent a public park because it's public. This is how you get around making sure you've got an area of the park just for you. You get hot girls because they repel men. Men don't like talking to hot women. It scares them. We had dogs with really long leads, and we had these girls walking around in this circle with these dogs. Okay? Smack in the middle, just under a tree, we'd actually been able to go through the old photographs, and it was that old that there was only a few photographs that were in color, because we thought the picnic rug would have been a red tartan. It was blue. So we managed to get, and that changed us straight up. So we got the picnic rug, we got the hamper. We had to buy 3 boom boxes that Run DMC would have been proud of to find the one that would work, okay? Now get this, we got this boom box, it arrived, we had an office in Palm Beach, it arrived, it looked fantastic, it was all there, and then we're looking for the HDMI plug points and stuff, and how do you sync the Bluetooth? We had no way of being able to record anything on it.
You're pretty young.
Yeah, I know. So, but there was no way of doing it. So we had to send off, we had to buy a cassette online, because again, nowhere sells cassettes. Right. And we got the tunes out of the guy to put on this boombox. So we set it all up, we went in there, we had these girls, there were 2 other girls, there was me, and we'd set up to the point of the hamper, because he folded the foil for the sandwiches. So we got some nice sandwiches, but then badly wrapped them in foil. We tried to recreate the entire thing, even down to the polo shirt that he was wearing at the time. So we put her in the car, sent her off, And she's like, where am I flying off? Am I going to sleep at a pyramid tonight? You know, is the king of Spain going to say hello to me? Well, she had no idea what she was doing. We sent her off. She went driving around for about 40 minutes. We all got set up in the park, and she came back, and she pulled up to the curb of this park. And she opened up the door, and he pulls out the champagne. It had to be alcohol-free because we were in a public place. Takes the champagne off, hits the button, and went, care to join me? Now, this is where it gets a bit bad. This was 5 years ago, and I hate you for me telling you the story. She steps out of the car and hit the floor like a lump of lead, okay? Bawling her eyes out. And the doorman that opened up the door is kind of like, what the hell? You know? Had to kind of pick her up and kind of lead her. She couldn't walk because she couldn't see. Because he had recreated the first time down to Alexander O'Neill, but stop crying, Lee. Down to Alexander O'Neill being played on the boombox.
Oh my goodness.
Okay? Because we had gone for maximum impact over price tag. He had to get up, run over, and help her over. And I'm behind the tree, and I had two girls working for me at the time, and I'm stood there going, allergies. So that was the most impactful one for me.
Thank you for sharing, and thank you for crying.
All right. Give it up for Steve. Woo! All right, are y'all ready for a selfie with Steve?
Good job, Steve.
You want a selfie with Steve?
Yeah.
We're going to get a large selfie.
Yes.
Let's do
Okay.
it.
So we're going to turn around.
All right?
Let's get your
Because
friend
that's
on
what
here.
selfies do.
That's what we do. Everybody smile real big.
There you go. All right.
All righty.
We can't
Oh,
see
you
Jack.
can't see
Oh,
me.
wait.
Sorry,
But
sorry.
wait. Get the fun size kid in.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Woohoo! All right.
Thank you.
Let's hear it again for Steve Sims.